What if World War III started tomorrow? Not in movies, not in history books, but in the real world, where millions of lives are at stake. Right now, tensions between powerful nations like the United States and Iran have already created dangerous situations. Missiles, drones, naval blockades, cyber warfare, all of these are already part of modern conflicts. But what if one mistake, one attack, or one retaliation triggers the biggest war in human history? This is what could happen if World War III begins. World wars rarely begin with a single explosion. They begin with tension. Disagreements grow, alliances form, threats increase. Eventually, something breaks. Imagine this scenario. A conflict starts between the United States and Iran in the Middle East. Missiles strike military bases. Ships are attacked in strategic waterways like the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important oil routes in the world. Now other nations begin to react. Allies of the United States, such as United Kingdom and France, could join the conflict. Meanwhile, countries like Russia or China might support the opposing side. Suddenly, what started as one war becomes a global conflict. If World War III begins, the first hours would be fast and terrifying. Modern wars move at incredible speed. Within minutes, missiles could be launched across continents. Hypersonic weapons could travel faster than sound, making them almost impossible to stop. Military bases would be targeted first. Airports, naval ports, command centers. At the same time, cyber attacks would begin. Hackers could shut down power grids. Internet systems might collapse. Banking networks could freeze. Imagine waking up one morning and finding that your phone has no signal, your electricity is gone, and the world is suddenly silent. The most terrifying part of World War III would be nuclear weapons. Countries like the United States, Russia, and China possess powerful nuclear arsenals. Even a single nuclear explosion could destroy an entire city. The blast would create temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. Buildings would vaporize. Water sources would become contaminated. Thousands, or even millions, could suffer from radiation sickness. And then comes something even more dangerous, an EMP, or electromagnetic pulse. This invisible wave could destroy electronics across huge regions. Cars would stop. Phones would die. Hospitals would lose life-saving machines. Modern civilization depends on electricity. Without it, survival becomes extremely difficult. War doesn't just destroy cities, it destroys economies. One of the most critical locations in global trade is the Strait of Hormuz. Nearly one-fifth of the world's oil passes through this narrow waterway. If war blocks this route, oil shipments would stop. Fuel prices would skyrocket. Petrol stations could run dry. Factories would shut down. Transportation would slow. Food supply chains would collapse. Supermarket shelves could empty within days. Prices would rise rapidly, and millions of families around the world would struggle to afford basic necessities. Even countries far from the battlefield would feel the consequences. For ordinary people, World War III would mean survival. Daily life would change completely. Electricity shortages could cause long blackouts. Water supplies might become unreliable. Food shortages would create panic buying. Families might be forced to leave their homes. Hospitals would be overwhelmed with injured patients. Schools would close. Cities might be evacuated. Fear, uncertainty, and survival would become part of everyday life. Even countries not directly involved in the war would feel the consequences. Every war eventually ends, even the biggest ones. World War III could end through peace talks, ceasefires, or international pressure. Leaders would negotiate, borders might change, cities would need reconstruction, economies would need recovery, and millions of lives would be forever changed. World War III is one of humanity's greatest fears, But it is not inevitable. The future depends on decisions made today: diplomacy, cooperation, and peace. These are the forces that can prevent global destruction, because in the end, the survival of humanity depends not on weapons, but on wisdom and the choices we make.